We at Peaches and Powerbombs would like to send our heartfelt condolences to the friends, family, and fans of Daphne. As many of you know, Daphne took her own life um, just after the beginning of this month. And the reason why we wanted to do this now versus when it first happened was because we are doing a little something special this month on Peaches and Power Bombs, and I'll let Tina tell you about that.
Yes, we are going to have two separate guests for someone who overcame something or somebody who is going through some really difficult time at the moment, but they are optimistic and they want, they're working really hard to get through it, or they worked really hard to get through it. And we wanted to do this for Suicide Prevention Month, just to send positivity and good vibes out into the community. We want to do our part and being an encouragement to other people. So that's why we're doing that.
And of course, this hits a little bit close to home for me. Daphne was somebody I really liked watching during the 90s and the 2000s. And her taking her own life, it hit home for me. September 24th, I'll be celebrating 2 years sobriety for self-harm. And it's it's hard work. It's a battle every single day. I was diagnosed with severe depression, and I undergo therapy ever so often just to keep track of everything going on. And it's not easy. It's very hard. If this goes undetected, mine was undetected for so long. So I'm really thankful for having a support system, for having a great doctor who's going to tell me no or tell me what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to just let me do whatever I want. And then I have a great therapist who, you know, she listens to me and she tells me what I need to do, and I try to implement all those practices. And like I said, it's not easy. It's hard. Some days are harder than others, but you matter. You are loved. You are worth it. You are somebody's why. If you ever and we at Peaches and Power Palms strictly believe that reach out to somebody if you need help. If you're feeling like you can't go on or anything like that, reach out to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a hotline, a suicide prevention hotline that you could talk to a licensed professional as well. And I believe that is free of charge. I'm not sure what the number is, but reach out to somebody you trust
Yeah.
because because it's always a new day in the morning. And sometimes it's hard, but the for me, I'm thankful that I'm here today. It can happen to anybody. Depression doesn't care who you are, what all
Mm-hmm.
you've accomplished. And unfortunately, Daphne succumbed to the monster, and it really is. And until you have that, um, you learn so much from that. So, talk to your friends, talk to your family, help them understand what you're going through. And for the friends and family of the person, listening does wonders. Just listen because, until you're affected some way, somehow, it's amazing how much it affects people in their daily lives. So again, we extend our deepest heartfelt condolences to the friends and family and fans of Daphne, and may she rest in peace.
Right. All right. So first of all, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, we just wanted to kind of ask you how you got into wrestling and who trained you and all that kind of stuff.
Um, Short story. I got into wrestling by talking to some guys at a flea market here in South Carolina. that would be that would be well, Willie Man. That's what we call him, or I think they call him Token. That's a nickname. I think they called him before, but whatever. But him and Brandon Paradise up here in Columbia, they were promoting a show for CWA. Now this is way back in 2004, so it wasn't like social media was booming like that. You know, you had MySpace, I think, at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, it was
So,
a completely different world back then.
Yep.
right, yeah. So, they were promoting the show. I said, "Hey, man, I want to do that," and it was just, "Hey, call this guy right here. He has a wrestling school." I called him. He had a training school slash barn in a little city called, now listen to this, called North, South Carolina. That's the name of the town, North. So, because when he said he lived in North, I was like, North Carolina. I was like, Jesus, I got to drive all the way to the train. You know, it was like, it was like, no, it's North South Carolina. So, he would train me. Our main trainer was David Garrett. I call him my wrestling dad. He had a lot to do with me getting off the ground, getting stuff done. I trained with two other guys on a regular basis. That was my buddy Eddie, or Shane Hexon, and my homeboy Matt. We did a lot of training together. They started before me. They were there training before I got there. So I joined up with them. And, I had a couple people that came with me that said they wanted to train. But once they started training and realizing how hard this stuff really is, they left. So, I mean, it's wrestling to weed out who's supposed to be there and who's not,
Right.
and if the training is being done correctly. And it sucked. Oh my God, I've never done so much. Well, up until that point, because I hadn't joined the military yet, but up until that point, I had never done so much running in my life. And it's just a bunch of blow up drills, this and that, until you throw up. Like, it sucked, but I wanted it, so I worked for it.
Right.
Had my very so another fun fact. My very first match in wrestling was a triple threat match, which is crazy because those are hard to do and put together if you don't have the right components. But we got a chance to work on it and get it right. And man, it was February 8th, 2008. Because it was a year before my son was born. We had the match in a place called Jamil Temple here. Man, it was a couple hundred people there. It was one of the bigger crowds I ever worked in front of, outside of like Dragon Con and stuff like that. But we turned that place out. I had a lot of people show up. They weren't even going to even put our match on. But my wrestling dad fought for it. He was like, well, let it just be the dark match if y'all don't want to put it on the main show. And it turned out being the best match of the night. Yeah, because we got a standing ovation from the crowd.
That's awesome.
And and they were all screaming 256, which is where I'm from, Huntsville, Alabama. Because like I said, a lot of people that I knew came, so that's what they decided to cheer, and it was awesome. So I got that because I won the match, which is crazy too. I got to win my first match, and that normally doesn't happen. But we got a standing ovation from the crowd, and then I got a standing ovation from the boys in the back when I went back, and it was cool because Sabu was back there. There was a lot of big name people back there. Sabu, Raven. It was a pretty dope show. So the only pop that was bigger that whole night was when Sabu jumped off the stage.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people. Yeah, so a lot of people were like, man, the boys in the back was like, well, damn, what are we gonna do now? Y'all did everything. And the reason it was a triple threat match is because we were training, and Matt and Eddie had already had their debut matches, and they decided to go one-on-one. So they told me, okay, Jacoby, it's your turn. You pick who you want to wrestle. And I said, well, I've been working with both these guys for like almost 2 years. Why can't I just wrestle both of them in one match? And so I picked them both, and they said, okay, we'll do a triple threat. And the first time we did it was god awful. I had no idea. We had no idea about placement, timing. We were just, So we got it right though, and it turned out to be magnificent.
There you go.
So you're originally from Alabama, and
Right.
so what brought you to South Carolina? I just wanted to know.
I was a military kid, so I graduated high school. I graduated high school in Germany.
Oh wow! Okay.
And after I graduated high school in Germany, I moved back to Huntsville. Moved back to Alabama. My dad called me because my sisters, my mom, and him were still in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls me and said, "Hey, I'm getting deployed. I don't want your sisters over here by themselves. Can you come back?" I said, "Yeah, I wasn't doing anything in Alabama. I worked at a car dealership but didn't have a car. Like, so, I flew back to Germany, and when he picked me up from the airport, he's like, "Well, we got a choice." He said, "I can go to Fort Jackson, or I can deploy." And I was like, "Well, I guess we're going to Fort Jackson." Huh? He said, "Yeah." So that's how. Yeah, that's how I ended up in South Carolina. Because I never had any intentions on living here, moving here, anything like that. My thing was just to go back home. Yeah, so we came here in 2004. I stayed until I joined the Army in 2008. When I got out the military, I came back, and so stayed in an apartment for a couple years, and I just bought my house out here.
All right, congratulations on buying your house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. A mortgage is a whole different beast.
Yes, it is. Completely different than renting out. So, you've pretty much wrestled all over the Southeast: Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. Out of all the places that you've performed in, what is your favorite state to go to and wrestle in?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have a favorite.
He likes Georgia.
I got a lot of in-ring time in Georgia. I will say that.
I got and Cornelia the best.
Oh yeah, I got to develop a lot in Georgia. I'll say that much. So I would probably pick Georgia only because I did so much work there. I clocked a lot of miles in the state of Georgia. I've been other places. I wrestled in Brooklyn before. I wrestled in Philly. Those were fun. So I mean, it's Tennessee. So I'm gonna go and do more. Well, after I get a kidney, but but we'll see where the old boots take me.
And going off of that, so you've wrestled a whole lot of people, obviously.
Yeah.
And I got to witness a whole bunch of that because I got to see you almost every Friday in Royston.
Oh
Georgia.
God, I was so young.
Yeah. And then I got to see you once a month on Saturdays for Anarchy. So, yeah, you were one of my favorites. I always thought that you were one of the better big men, I guess you would say, in wrestling.
Yeah,
so,
I took pride in being a good big man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you had the best stone face I've ever seen. Like, you were never phased. Like, big grump the whole time. It was pretty great.
That was the military.
Yeah.
That was definitely Uncle Sam. Yeah.
So, who are some of the people that you enjoy being in the ring with the most?
Man, I would say Manchild from ADD. He's another super heavyweight, but man, you can put me and him seem to always end up wrestling each other at Dragon Con every year, and just tearing it up though. Like you see two big dudes just jumping, rolling, flying around. It's crazy. Him, of course, Hex, Strychnine. Strychnine is stiff as a bad back on the airplane, but man, he's fun to work with. I miss the OG Shadow Jackson. He taught me a lot. He taught me so much in the beginning stages of me being at Royston. I enjoyed working with Anthony Henry. I got to work with him in so many different places. I liked working with him because it pushed me to be better. You had to turn it up wrestling that guy. Otherwise, you'll just look bad, and he's not gonna let you look bad, and you don't want to look bad because he'll talk about you. So,
and if you stay tuned to AEW Dark this week, you might see him. I think he was on there. So.
And speaking of him, another good one is James. Well, he's James Drake to me, but I guess JD Drake now because of, But JD Drake is another good one because we were two big guys that didn't mind going out there, letting it all hang out. Despite the amount of guys I've worked, it's a lot of them that I haven't that I would like to work more. I've only wrestled Darius Lockhart once. I like to do that again. That was fun. I've only wrestled Owen Knight twice, and Owen
Knight is good.
Oh yeah, man, that dude is pure, man. I love it. So yeah, man. But those are definitely some of my favorites. I miss being in the tag team with Chris Mayne. That was fun.
Y'all had a special connection.
That's my brother from another mother. So that's my dude to the end. I wish we never. I don't think we ever got a fair shake as a tag team. As far as like being the champions and all that, because I just felt like we were better than everybody else, and we were really a team. That wasn't. They threw us together, but we were really a team anyway. So,
right.
Hey man, that's the way the cookie crumbled on that. But that's still me and that was a good time. Those were good times.
Yeah. Now you mentioned wrestling at Dragon Con a couple of times. Tell me, what was that like?
Dragon Con is effing amazing. That's what that is.
I'm pretty sure there's like a crowd there watching and all too.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact number is or how many people's in that one huge room, but it's a roar when they cheer. It feels like a couple thousand, even if it's only even if it's 1,500 to 2,000, it's still a lot of people, lot, man. And they only see you once a year. But then they cheer when you see you, and when they remember who you are, that means awesome. You're doing, because they know who you are. They see the album. Oh, it's the ambassador, and it's great. I've taken a lot of first time bumps. I took my first thumbtack bump there. Wow, because I didn't know thumbtacks.
I bet that hurt. Oh gosh.
I didn't know thumbtacks were going to be in the match. But yeah.
So no preparation at all. Oh,
No, because what they did was normally at Dragon Con they have Lucky Charms, and the staff at the Hilton or wherever that thing is at, they said no Lucky Charms because it's so hard to get all that shit out the carpet. Oh, I'm sorry, all that stuff out the carpet. And so when we were in the match, I said, why does he have a Lucky Charms box? We can't have those.
Little did you know.
And it's so funny because this is all on YouTube. I just went back and watched it. So it was hilarious. Because I told my buddy, I was like, I've been slamming the text before. He's like, there's no way. And I said, okay, I'll show you. So he lets the text out, and you just see me over there like, well, I'm not getting back in the ring. Like I really wasn't getting back in. Like I got forced in there. I won the Dragon Con Cup that match. That was great, but and even at the end, you see a lady pulling a tack out the top of my head. It's crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys, man.
So you really had to fight for that.
Yeah, because I got you know what though, I got slammed in it. I slammed people in it. It was me. Was it me, Tank, Seth Delay, and Manchild.
Mm.
Wow. And the Rev was out there. So yeah. I earned every bit of that one.
I know
Every bit
you
of that one.
did.
Yeah. Like I had to miss Dragon Con this year, but I was on dialysis, so I couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah,
So
that's understandable.
yeah. So, but Dragon Con is
Like
awesome.
it's a
So
lot of fun.
if you ever get a chance to go to a Dragon Con, you should go.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
Yeah, hey, even if it's just for that event, and then of course, like I love going because then you see all these people cosplaying and things like that. Like I'm a huge fan of the Predator franchise, and so I don't know who the guys were because they never took their mask off. But I walked in and I said, "Holy, it's the Predators! They look." It was a male one and a female one. They looked exactly.
Oh wow.
I love that picture because I was like, oh no, I put my bag down and everything right now. I said, I need a picture right now. And they gave me my picture.
A good friend of mine, Joe Lavender, he used to wrestle in Georgia as Azimuth years ago. Anyway, he was at Dragon Con this year, and him and his wife, they cosplayed the Ghostbusters. The guy, I can't remember his name, but it was Rick Moranis played him, and then Dana.
Okay.
Cosplay Dana, and she looked just like her.
That's
and
cool.
I mean, they looked good, and I was like, #Zool. it was awesome. I was like,
great. It is great because oh man, all them people in there cheering for wrestling, and you on the big screens and all that stuff. It's pretty dope. And then usually like they're inducting somebody famous into their Hall of Fame. Hint, hint, guys, I'm ready for my induction. But I was there when Ric Flair got inducted, Lita, Rick Steamboat, Xavier Woods, all those guys. So it's pretty cool. Xavier Woods comes there every year because his best friend wrestles on that card.
Oh wow! Okay.
He's a nice
he's into cosplaying too. So
they do it. They do it every year. They do it every year. They don't miss a beat.
They do it every pay-per-view. What are you talking
about? Well, every chance they get, let's just say that.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. All right, so you want to kind of talk to us about being a diabetic and being a wrestler, being a diabetic, and what challenges that presents? Has it ever caused you to lose bookings or anything like that? And what are the challenges?
I wouldn't necessarily per se lose bookings, but I didn't do a whole lot of group car rides. Because I would always have to go to the bathroom, or hey, I gotta stop to take my shot, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I did a lot of the driving I did on my own. And if somebody was with me, they knew exactly what it was. Like, it was a friend of mine. It wasn't just, sometimes guys just hop in the car together. I rarely ever did that.
Yeah.
Only because I required so much, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to make anybody else uncomfortable. So I put a lot of miles on my car only because I just felt more comfortable doing it that way. As far as my diabetes went. So, but you gotta play the cards you dealt.
Right. So how hard was it to keep your energy up for a match for that? Because I know your blood sugar can just drop.
It really wasn't. Not at that point in my life. I was young, stupid, and eating whatever I wanted to. So it was just like, and then man, you hear your music hit. That adrenaline thing is real, and it's time to work. It's time to go. Okay. There we go. And so, man, I hear my music come over them speakers, and It's not too often that my shoulders are on the mat, so I was ready to go.
So, last year you said you came down when everything was locked down during the pandemic, and it's still kind of going on right now. But you caught COVID last year, and You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so July of 2020, um, I contracted. I had COVID pneumonia, so I got hit by two things at once, and that's what made it so bad. um, there we go. Should have worked on the lighting before we started, but
It's okay.
no, I contracted COVID pneumonia. I was at the gym working out, doing my thing. Went to the steam room, my normal routine. Walked outside and got rained on. So I was like, I know I'm gonna catch a cold from this. So whatever. Kept going through the week. I said, okay, none of these remedies are working. It's getting worse. Let me go get tested just to be sure. So we got tested and I came back positive. I still didn't think it was gonna be that bad because, like I said, I'm thinking I'm just have these cold symptoms. They'll go away. I'll be okay. That was on a Friday when I found out I was positive. Mind you, I was at the gym Tuesday. So I was at the gym Tuesday, repping 315 on the bench press. By Monday, I could not lift the Gatorade bottle. I could not, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not, embellishing or anything like that. I really couldn't, and I tried, so I had to drink with the straw that day. But then that night, I tried to go upstairs, and I had threw up so much I couldn't. I was just dry heaving at that point. I felt. I don't even know what death feels like. What kind of? But I felt damn near dead then, and so I called the hospital, and I told them I'm positive. They already told I need to come to the hospital. And they was like, well, we're trying to get people to stay at home in quarantine. I said, if I stay at home another night, I'm going to die. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow. That's what I told her.
Mm-hmm.
And so got up to the hospital, and I got admitted, and I was in there for 12 days. 12 felt like 12 months.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, felt like 12 months because first of all, I don't like being trapped in any location. I used to work in a prison. I don't like being locked up anywhere. So they had me on one floor. I spazzed out one night because, mind you, I had pneumonia at the same time. So I know there's a bunch of cold in my chest, trying to cough the cold out, but it didn't want to move. Now I'm giving myself a headache because I'm coughing so much. And now I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to go outside. I need some fresh air. I'm not going to make it. They had to drug my big behind up and rub on me and tell me everything was going to be okay. I fell asleep on the second floor and I woke up strapped to a bed on the fourth floor in the ICU.
Wow.
I was in the intensive care unit for the rest of my time there. Like I said, I woke up, I couldn't move because they didn't know how I was going to react. So they strapped me to a bed. That was fun.
Not if you don't like to be in a closed place, it's not.
No, but the room, and I'm going to tell you what, that intensive care unit room was huge. But the crazy part was you're more or less a science project when you're in there. Because I woke up, people were talking to me, but there was nobody in the room. They were all on the glass on the other side. And then they had this TV in the room with a camera on it. The camera just turned on and boom, there's doctors from Ohio just looking at you. And I'm like, what am I, a lab rat? What is this, So I died while I was in there. I was resuscitated. They brought me back. And I came back, rather. And that's a whole nother story. But I got a chance to make the choice to be here or not. And I chose to stay. And when I woke up, the doctor said, "Oh man, we thought we lost you for a minute."
Mm.
I can't
Uh,
imagine.
We're glad you're here.
Yes, we
yeah.
are.
So that was intense because after that I didn't want to go back to sleep anymore at all, ever, because I said I might not get a chance to choose again. So I didn't want to go back to sleep. I was petrified of sleeping. Eventually, I did get out the hospital. Got the hospital in August. My body was still retaining fluid all the way up until November. I couldn't breathe normally until November.
Mm.
When they got all the fluid out of my lungs, and my body was retaining an astronomical amount of fluid. It was giving me congestive heart failure, things like that. So we had the breathing problem fixed. Then I went blind right after that.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
gosh!
yeah. I lost my
It just
vision.
put you through the ringer, you poor thing.
Yeah. So yeah. So I lost my vision. The central vision in my right eye is a blur now. So what happened was when I was in the hospital, they had to put me on steroids to get my body working again. Because like I said, I'm a strong guy, but that whole sickness rendered me pretty much useless. I was a big ass paperweight, and so they put me on steroids, but they took me off my blood pressure medicine. But the steroids drive up your blood pressure, and my blood pressure had gotten so high at times that it started bursting the blood vessels in my eye. So that's how my vision got blurry. I couldn't see at one point. I couldn't even see a car in front of me while I was driving. So now I have to get eye injections and laser work every 3 to 4 weeks in my eye. I have to get those to keep my vision clear. So we got that figured out. I lost my job in between those because I was in and out the hospital even after I got out. After the eye thing, then I couldn't walk for a while. My quads went on me. So there's that. We fixed it though. It took a lot of work to not limp when I walk. I'm happy to walk normally now. A lot of strength building, a lot of training. I've tried to go back to wrestling, but I have so much other stuff to heal before I can go all the way back and be back like I want to be.
Right.
And so
I saw that you had one match a couple months ago, or
I've wrestled twice this year, but and then in 2020 I only wrestled one match. Like I wrestled January 31st, 2020, and up until the match I had about 2 months ago, that was my only match. I hadn't had a match since. Because when it was time for me to come back to Chester, APW, I got COVID and everything was shut down. So it wasn't none of that anyway. So after we got my legs back working, I had a few more issues here and there, but then I got sick again, and then I found out I already had a kidney disease, but it was only at a stage 2 before I got the COVID pneumonia. But the COVID pneumonia accelerated it, and it got to stage 5 really quick. And stage 5 is the absolute worst, which led me to having to have this catheter in my chest, and it goes up into my neck. It sucks. And then I just had a surgery on my arm to put what they call a fistula in, so I can do my dialysis stuff like that. So my kidney function, I thought I had another bad cold, but what it was that my kidney function was low, and I was retaining a bunch of fluid again. Like my feet and my ankles were all one. There was no, you know what I mean. When you see somebody's leg, you see their ankles. Yeah. That's where I was at. But I couldn't, and while that was happening, I couldn't walk. Nicole was like, I couldn't stand to look at you because I thought you was just gonna drop dead any minute. I couldn't walk more than 5 feet without being out of breath. It was terrible. So they said we're gonna go ahead and put you on dialysis, and they did. Because I was supposed to get this thing in my arm first, but I had too much fluid on me. They said we can't even put that in you. You'll leak all over the table. That's how much fluid your body's carrying. And so they said we gotta put this catheter in your chest and in your neck, and you just gonna have to roll with that for a while. And I mean, it is what it is. I don't. You have to. Some of my hardest matches are not in the ring.
Exactly.
I'll say that. So but it didn't give me an excuse to stop. I got to keep going. I don't know how to do anything else but keep going. Do I get tired? Oh God, yes. I'm tired now. Like I've been. I don't want to say sick, but I haven't been 100% since July 2020. That's the best way I can put it. I haven't been 100% because every time I get close, something happens. So it's not fun. It's not something I want to deal with. Like I said, I couldn't keep a job because I was in and out the hospital. I've been in and out the hospital more this year. I've been to the hospital more this year than I had ever been in my life.
Right.
And I worked at a hospital. So it's does it suck? Yeah, but hey man, the alternative is I could be dead and I'm good on it. I've seen death and I can wait on that for a while. I'll put it that way.
I hear you.
I have nobody has to book that match anytime soon at all. I won the first one. That's how we keep it undefeated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's a bummer, man. But I tell people every day, yo, if I can fight, you can too. You just got to keep going. Because the world don't stop just because you get sick. You know what I'm saying? And then my 9-year-old told me about 3 weeks ago, he told me I'm invincible.
Oh.
I said, what do you mean, man? I said, Daddy's sick right now. He's like, Dad, stuff always happens to you. You beat it and then you come back strong. And that meant a lot coming from him. I needed that actually. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're his hero, so.
Now, the one question that I have, I'm sorry. Are you?
No.
Oh, okay. The one question that I have for you, even though you've been going through so much, with the COVID and everything, now, let's say that you do, come back into wrestling, would you like, if for some reason, everything that you went through, you weren't able to wrestle anymore, would you consider being open to things like commentary, managing, stuff like that?
I don't know. I thought about it. I really did, because at one point when they told me they would put me on dialysis, I was like, all right, well, I'm not wrestling no more. That's over with. I kind of made peace with the decision to be done. With wrestling, I've done a lot in my career. I'm a 5-time heavyweight champion, 3-time tag champion, NWA North Georgia champion. Like, the AIWF East Coast heavyweight champion. Like, I've done some things to be proud of, and that's what people know me for. That and coaching here in the city. Quick story. My son wanted to get his COVID vaccine shot, and we went to go get it. And I walked in the office with him, and the doctor was like, "Oh my God, I know who you are. You're the ambassador."
Oh.
And she was like,
ambassador approves.
Right. She was like, "You're the reason I had to listen to Top Back by T.I. 100 times, because my kids love you. My kids love you, and they love that song, and they know it's your song. I had to listen to that song so much, but you're so awesome." So I thought that was pretty dope. So that's kind of another thing.
Yeah, that is a good song too.
Right. So that kind of helped me be like, kind of cool with if I couldn't wrestle anymore, I would be fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I train somebody that's in WWE now. I know people everywhere. You know, you just have to be cool with it. So because I might not be able to go to a regular job, let alone wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, but no, I wouldn't be opposed to commentating or accompanying somebody because I got, as a matter of fact, my buddy that works at NXT now, he's like, man, you need to be somebody trainer or coach, or he's like, so much
Yeah.
stuff that nobody. He said you know things that people don't pay attention to, but they looking right at. And he said that's so dope because he's like, a lot of the stuff that they taught me here I knew already because you taught me. So
Mm-hmm.
that meant a lot for him to tell me that. But we'll see how that
Yeah,
pot cooks, baby.
you have all that experience, and then you were trained by other people, so over time you were able to acquire that expertise and stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So, for anyone who might be watching this and might be going through something, or they have a lot of health problems as well, do you have any advice to those people?
Yeah, man. Just listen to what your health advisors are trying to tell you, even if it sounds crazy. I resisted for a while, but once I did what I was supposed to do, man, I saw vast improvements. Like I said, in the last 3.5 weeks, I've dropped 64 pounds. A lot of that was them draining fluid off me. But God, I'm happy that fluid is off me because I can sleep normally. Like I can lay down in my bed and go to sleep. Because for weeks I couldn't sleep because that fluid is in you, and it's like your body is drowning on the inside out. So it's very uncomfortable.
I
Um,
was just about to say that sounds uncomfortable.
it is terrible. It's terrible. It's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and it's some people I really don't like, and I wouldn't even wish that on them. Because it's not. It's no way to live. It's no way to live because anytime you live in it, you feel so bad you just want to die. Because literally in the last year, 3 different times I felt like I wanted to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad I felt. So um, keep fighting, man. That's why. So I started hashtagging Ambassador Strong. We just got to keep going. I had a buddy of mine hit me up on the internet. He said, I don't know another person on this planet that has been through as much as you've been through, and they just keep smiling and keep going. And I said, I don't have no choice. You just gotta get up and you gotta go. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes. I hurt people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? But I try not to. Um,
Yeah.
things happen though, and you don't have. One thing I can tell people that's going through something, you don't have to be perfect. Just be your best you, and that will guide you. Just try
You
to be your
remind
best every
me.
day.
You remind me of a friend of mine. I worked with her years and years ago. And by chance, we reconnected when I moved here to Douglas. I live in South Georgia, and she suffered a stroke, and she was 30. She was 38, I think. And she works. She was a hard worker, very smart, and a lot of things that you're saying. I remember her saying that to me on the
Yeah,
phone. And just of course, she was angry, like, I have 2 degrees and now I can't work, or but
I
at the
feel a
same
pain. Hell, I
time,
got 3 of them.
yeah. So, like, yeah, so a lot of that you say, it reminds me of her, and that's all. And you're right. You just have to keep going because I mean, life just throws curveballs at you all the time, and
Yeah,
it just tests what kind of person you are, because you may get knocked down, but you'll always get back up, and that's
you have to.
how
You
I.
have to. Don't. Yeah, like and that's you really got to believe in you, and
Mhm.
be here for you because that's what you're here for. I this experience has taught me a lot. I've found a
Mhm.
lot of selfish people in my life that I want nothing to do with. at this point. But it's just like wrestling training; it weeds them out. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And the people that's gonna be in my corner are gonna be in my corner. I've had some fantastic help. You know, here in my house, all the way to my parents' house, my sisters. Like I've had some great help. So it's just
That support
it,
system is everything.
yeah,
It
man.
really
It's a real
is.
because I tell you what, Nicole is awesome. She's put up with a lot of a lot. I'll just say that. But she's picked up the slack with the boys because she has to do a lot of the dad activities now because
Yeah.
I'm out of commission. So she's taking them to practice, doing this, doing that. I know that's weighing on her, but I'm trying to get back to where I'm good to go. I'm glad to be up and moving. I can drive myself to dialysis at this point, so
That's
that's a
One
good
amazing.
step at
thing.
a time.
Yeah, so exactly. So and that's how we're doing it. Just yesterday, my doctor said she's gonna go ahead and recommend me for the transplant list. So that's good. So that process, that I know people say it takes a long time, but for me, it's moving kind of fast, and I am not
That's
complaining.
really good.
I'm
Um,
not-
your story hits really close to home with me because I had an uncle who was, um, his kidneys didn't work. He actually had a transplant back in his earlier times, but pushed. I won't go into the whole thing, but his rejection medicine got flushed down the drain, and so his body rejected that kidney, so he had to go back on the dialysis. So he was on dialysis for 20 years, and he fought to get on the donor list, but unfortunately it didn't happen. He passed away in February of 2019 to a infection, not his kidney stuff, but so. I just want to say one thing. If you have not considered being an organ donor, go to this website, organdonor.gov, talk to your doctor, talk to your family, and and try to make a decision. It could help save someone's life in case something ever happens. So,
yeah,
just
because if
wanted
you want, hey, a donation from you can save two people, not just one.
right.
I have somebody else's cornea in my left eye, so I'm just put together over here.
You're the bionic man,
I am. I
Yeah,
am.
you really
bionic
are.
ambassador.
Yeah, I am. So I got a cornea in here. Go ahead and give me another kidney too while you're at it. I appreciate it. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Jacoby, we appreciate you coming on with us, and we are just so inspired by your story, and we're so happy that you're here. And we wish you all the best, and we hope that you do get that kidney very soon so you can get off of dialysis and get back to life. So,
Exactly. Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. This was a pleasure.
all right. So,
Anytime. Thank you.
like, share, and subscribe to Peaches and Powerbombs. Go onto our social media, all of that stuff. Thank you again, Jacoby. Thank you, Sarah, and we will see y'all later.